Ethan, my boyfriend, the one who used to school bully me. Later, he held a grand wedding for me. But the bride was nowhere to be found. He stood in the ballroom, after the guests had left, his eyes red-rimmed, pleading with me. Skylar, I was wrong. Please don't break up with me. I'll spend my entire life making it up to you. I raised my hand and caressed his face, just as tenderly as I had during our relationship. I softly pronounced to him, Ethan, don't be naive. This isn't for you. Bullies never deserve forgiveness. The first time I saw Ethan, I was being dragged by my hair into the abandoned school building. He took off his baseball jacket, revealing a clean, crisp white t-shirt. It reflected his cold gaze, which carried a hint of rebellious arrogance. I thought I had found a savior, until I heard him say, keep it quiet, don't let her scream too loud. His tone was lazy and disrespectful, his voice low and pleasant. Yet it made my hand froze midair as I reached out for help. The two guys dragging me burst out laughing. Ethan, this chick actually thinks you're going to save her? Her little sounds might be pleasant, but that flab is truly disgusting. The guy squatted down, patted my swollen face, and used duct tape to silence my whimpers. I was dragged in front of him, under Ethan's cold, disdainful eyes. He sat on the abandoned school building's chairs, Chloe standing beside him with a triumphant look on her face. He gave his sister a rare, faint smile. Go on, what lesson do you want her to learn? Chloe kicked me, then still unsatisfied, slapped me. You look like a greasy pig and you still dare to snitch? She grabbed my hair, then turned to her Ethan, putting on an innocent act. Ethan, I heard they take compromising photos/videos. She coyly glanced at the two thugs standing nearby, and the guy nodded at her. Ethan slightly frowned, but didn't harshly reprimand her. He just said with slight disapproval, just this once. Don't let it happen again. Thanks, Ethan. She smiled sweetly. The siblings walked away together, casually and carefree, chatting about what to eat for dinner. They left me and two malicious boys holding phones, walking towards me. At first, I didn't understand the meaning of Chloe's words, but the moment my clothes were torn, I understood. I fell into an endless abyss, unable to ever return. I'm still not sure how I offended Chloe. I only remember that the teacher had called her to the office, and when she returned, she flipped my desk and asked, Did you tell on me for smoking? I said no, but she didn't believe me. She said, Who doesn't know you're the teacher's pet, a snitch, not good at school and ugly too? A greasy pig like you even likes Owen. The guy whose name she mentioned looked back at us, then indifferently turned away. I was embarrassed, but I insisted on telling her it wasn't me. But she was convinced it was, which was why she found people to beat me up. In the abandoned school building, I got dressed and went back to my small rented room. Along the way, passers-by avoided her. I took out my phone, and there were already a few unread messages. Lily, are you there? 3 orders today. Do you want to take them? Let me show you the info. One of them looks really handsome. I felt a little lost, about to text back to decline. But then I thought of the little money I had left. My parents were working out of town, drifting from place to place. To attend school, I rented a small rented room near the school, staying alone in the town. Over the years, to make ends meet, I became a virtual girlfriend, earning money through voice calls. Although the name wasn't pleasant, most of it was just chatting with people and easing their loneliness or depression. My voice was very pleasant, soft and gentle, with a sweet and girlish touch, and even this became one of the reasons she was frequently bullied. I clicked on the profiles one by one until I saw the third person's social media feed. My hand holding the phone trembled uncontrollably. The WeChat user openly posted a photo on their social media feed. The young man had bold features, a carefree smile. He seemed like the complete opposite of the cold-faced one I saw during the day. Trembling, I typed and asked, Did this person find me themselves? No, seems like his buddies ordered it for him as a joke. Do you want to take it? At that moment, a bizarre, unbelievable thought flashed through her mind, and a storm of thoughts began to churn. Should I take it? Why would I take it? I should flatly refuse. But why do I want to take it? What am I going to do? I want them to pay for what they did. So I didn't reply. Instead, I took a deep breath and tossed my phone aside. I got up and walked to the mirror. I took off my outer clothes and looked at myself in the mirror. My face was swollen, and I was covered in bruises and scrapes. I could never understand why my body and appearance, which had never harmed anyone, were used to hurt me. My desk had water spilled all over it. My things were maliciously thrown away, and I would be shoved hard when walking on the street. They even gave me cruel nicknames based on her appearance. If I resisted even a little, they would laugh and say, Lily, I was just joking with you. Is it that big of a deal? When I told the teacher, he brushed it off saying, you should focus more on your studies. Then I heard him complaining in his office. Why don't kids these days consider if they've done anything wrong? There's no smoke without fire. Yes, there's no smoke without fire. But how do you know if that crack opened on its own or was forced open? Even the boy she secretly admired had once held the love letter I wrote to him and, in front of the whole class, pretended to be surprised and asked me, Lily, so you like me? I looked at myself in the mirror, gradually lost in thought. After a long moment, I came back to my senses, picked up my phone, and for the first time, typed with such determination, I'll take it. Ethan accepted my friend request half an hour later. After I explained the situation, he replied politely, apologies, my friend's joke. I ignored his refusal and sent him a voice message, using the voice and tone that my clients praise the most. Honey/sweetheart. How about I chat with you? If you cancel the order, my whole day will be wasted. But for a long time, Ethan didn't reply. My hand gripping her phone unconsciously clenched, and I started overthinking. Did he recognize her? Just as I was getting nervous, my messaging app notification sound rang. I quickly unlocked it and opened it. No, I won't cancel the order. I typed back, but we have terms of service, this isn't allowed. After sending it, I felt it wasn't enough, so I added another voice message. This time, my tone was normal, as if I was truly concerned about the order, saying, Honey/sweetheart, please help me, thank you. I had been in this line of work for a while, and was well versed in dealing with all sorts of people through voice calls. I didn't act overly eager towards him, instead chatting about brief, everyday topics like a regular friend. Although Ethan usually took half an hour to reply, he was always patient, as if he truly was the vibrant and bright young man portrayed in his social media feed, polite and helpful. We chatted on and off for a long time. My words were confident and cheerful when talking to him. Looking at the words flying across my phone screen, I couldn't help but let out a cynical laugh at myself. Lily, look at yourself. The next day, I requested a long leave of absence due to feeling unwell, long enough to allow me to leave this school. My grades weren't good, and I had no other special talents, so the teacher didn't pay much attention to my departure as a transparent student. Every day, besides self-studying, I spent all my remaining time chatting with Ethan online. His friend had placed a 2-month order for him. I used the excuse that this 2-month large order was my 3 months living expenses, asking Ethan to reply to me a few times a day, just enough to meet the terms of service requirements. In reality, there was no such thing as terms of service. It was just my excuse. Every day, without fail, I sent him good morning and good night voice messages, citing the terms of service. At first he ignored me. Later, perhaps he was in a good mood that day, he replied with a simple morning. I looked at that simple word. It was like seeing a seed I had buried in a dark cave suddenly sprout in the utter darkness, drawing on the hatred in my heart and growing wildly. When I came back to my senses, I saw myself in the mirror, a smile on my lips, yet my eyes red-rimmed. I changed my profile picture to a back view of a long-haired girl in a sundress, exuding vibrant life, charming and slender. It clearly wasn't me, but I deliberately made everyone who didn't know me think it was. Initially, Ethan and I chatted about indifferent topics. Later, I started sharing my daily food, funny videos I scrolled through, interesting people and things I saw when I went out. I meticulously learned Photoshop, showing only small parts of my body in photos, but always inadvertently revealing glimpses of my daily life to him. Yet, Ethan's replies remained lukewarm. So, I stopped sending him morning and evening greetings for a few days, and my messages gradually became fewer. A week later, he proactively asked, "Are you busy lately?" My hand gripping my phone unconsciously clenched until it was white. Looking at his text on the screen, I opened a voice message. Yes, honey/sweetheart, the terms of service recently said I was fined for slacking off, so I need to find another part-time job to make up for it. Because of me? His question made me pause. After thinking for a moment, I replied, "It's not your fault, honey/sweetheart. My service just isn't good enough." He was silent for a while, not replying. Just when I thought the plan was going to fail, my phone chimed. "I talked to your website's backend. I've added more money for you. You don't need to find another part-time job. Where are you?" My tone was very embarrassed. "Oh, I don't know about that. It's okay, it's because of me. Thank you so much, honey/sweetheart." He truly was a carefree young man, spoiled by his family. But if you're so warm-hearted, how did you end up in that abandoned school building? Time passed little by little. After graduation, I packed all my belongings and moved to the college town, sharing an apartment with a girl I met online. Her name was Harper, a girl who had experienced similar struggles to me. The day we met, it was like looking in a mirror. We were strangers who had only exchanged a few words online. Yet the moment we met, we instinctively gave each other a deep hug. We had a common purpose in coming here, with a determination and feelings that others couldn't comprehend, wanting to be reborn in this apartment, which was less than 40 square meters. During the summer before college started, we chose the most drastic weight loss method. Every day we woke up from hunger. Then we suffered from insomnia due to hunger. Under countless hours of exercise, sweat, and past nightmares, I started losing weight rapidly. I knew it wasn't healthy, but I was too desperate. When I hit a plateau, I became agitated, started losing hair, and my periods became irregular. But in the countless late nights, remembering those malicious faces from the past, I endured. I increased my exercise, even fainting from hunger. I still didn't dare to touch a single bite of food, only able to cry in Harper's arms late at night, then wake up the next day to continue this life, all while putting immense effort into chatting with Ethan every day. Harper, hearing me chat with Ethan, didn't look at me with surprise. She only advised me against it, but I calmly told her, I'm not resigned to it. Why should those who tormented me live so well, as if nothing happened, while I'm left to live the rest of my life in shadows and pain? Day after day, I dropped from 140 pounds to 98 pounds. I tirelessly practiced makeup and styling in front of the mirror, learning to exude confidence. Due to repetitive excessive practice every day, my eyes became red and swollen from frequent makeup removal, until finally, looking at the person in the mirror, my once round jawline had thinned to just lines. My already large eyes occupied a larger proportion of my now smaller face, and my slightly weak nose even revealed its original shape. The girl in the mirror had bright eyes and white teeth, her lips pursed, smiling brightly and charmingly. This was me, yet it wasn't me. She was confident and sunny, the person I had always longed to be. I changed my messaging app profile picture. It was still a back view, but this time, it was me. The 2-month term of the virtual girlfriend service had ended, but I didn't mention it. Instead, I continued to send messages and photos. Ethan didn't bring up the end of the service either, whether he was pretending not to know or had genuinely forgotten. He now replied to all my messages promptly, occasionally shared aspects of his life with me, and even played games with me. When people in the game teased him for carrying a girl, he would just chuckle softly, never denying it. As for me, I was a professional virtual girlfriend, so why not? And so Ethan and I maintained an ambiguous relationship. Then every day, after sending him messages at fixed times, I used the same methods again, giving him the cold shoulder for a few days, until he couldn't resist messaging me. Busy. Yeah, taking orders. I waited a few minutes without a reply, then put down my phone and took a shower. When I returned, his messages had already flooded my phone screen. I contacted your boss. I've renewed your order for another year. Cancel all other orders. Don't take anyone else's. Where are you? Usually, I was the one flooding the chat. His messages had always been concise. I chuckled softly and simply replied, okay, with a cute emoji. After college started, I said goodbye to Harper and moved into the dorm. At first, I was a bit introverted and reluctant to socialize. But the girls in my dorm were much easier to get along with than I expected. They would invite me to eat, and if they saw I was alone, they'd ask me to join them at the library. When they complimented my appearance, I hesitated to respond. I couldn't imagine if they knew what I used to look like. Would they still react the same way? So I guarded this secret carefully, terrified of being exposed. Under their positive influence, I met new friends and new people, and experienced the joy and fun of my age that I had never known before. But the thorn in my heart remained, growing more painful on every rainy day, forcing me to cry curled up in bed. I not only wanted to pull it out, but also to stab it deeply into the bodies of those who had hurt me. The appearance of one person accelerated my revenge. At a party, I saw Owen, the guy who had read my love letter in front of the whole class and laughed at me. The moment our eyes met, my blood ran cold. Owen stared at me, too frozen. I avoided his gaze, hiding myself behind my loose hair. Just as I thought he was about to recognize me, the guy sitting next to him chuckled and nudged him. What? Stunned by a pretty girl? Owen snapped out of it, smiled sheepishly, apologized to me, and asked for my name. The atmosphere at the party was cheerful, but my heart was pounding. I only gave my first name, not my last. Lily. He repeated my name, as if savoring it, and said with a smile, "Same name as a classmate from my high school." His friend also laughed. "Was she that good-looking?" I watched Owen nervously, but he still held his smile, his expression seemingly normal. "Of course not." Hearing his answer, the breath I had been holding finally escaped. Thankfully, he didn't recognize me. And thinking about it, why would he? He never even truly looked at me back then. After that day, he showered me with attention. He often brought up Lily from high school. I knew he was deliberately trying to use it as a topic to chat with me. I, of course, gave him the opportunity, then forwarded the chat history to Ethan. "Honey/sweetheart, this guy is pursuing me. What should I do?" To my surprise, my phone rang. It was a voice call directly from him. This was the first time he had called since we added each other on my messaging app. I answered, hearing his deep, pleasant voice on the other end. "Skylar, where are you right now? Can you talk?" Skylar. It was the first time I heard him call me by my online name. He stammered a little, as if embarrassed to call me so intimately. A breeze blew, and the autumn night was cold, reflecting the chill in my heart. "I'm on the balcony. What's wrong?" My voice was cute and playful, but the woman reflected in the bathroom mirror was expressionless, as if in a horror movie. He said many things to me, but I didn't pay much attention. Until his last sentence. "Skylar, let's be together." It jolted my scattered thoughts back. I smiled silently. Even though I had achieved the result I had long plotted for, I still felt pathetic. I didn't react for a long time, making Ethan a little flustered. "Skylar, are you listening?" Was I too sudden? Listening to the man's cautious questions, full of tenderness and indulgence. It was as if after we were together, he would cherish me in the palm of his hand, just as he had indulged his sister. My fingernails dug deep into my palm. I heard my own voice softly reply, "Okay, honey/sweetheart, let's be together." I was not far from success. Ethan's family was well off, otherwise, they wouldn't have raised such a spoiled daughter like Chloe. He did indeed cherish me after we started dating. We were like a couple deeply in love, constantly texting each other. We started video calls, intimately falling asleep to each other's voices. It took me months to get close to him, but after we started dating, our relationship drew closer rapidly, like a comet approaching Earth. He asked me to stop my virtual girlfriend work, saying he didn't like me being with other men. I smiled and agreed, showing him all the innocence and playful whims of a young girl. Over the past 6 months, we met more and more frequently, but I rarely stayed overnight. He never asked why, acting like a man who deeply respected his girlfriend's decisions. Ethan gradually grew restless with their deliberately controlled, sweet interactions. He started suggesting we move in together, but I always found excuses, saying I was busy with work, feeling awkward, or not ready. He became anxious, even starting to doubt my sincerity. Once during a video call, his eyes red-rimmed, he asked, "Skylar, don't you love me?" I looked at the familiar face on the screen, and complex emotions churned within her. His kindness to me was real. His indulgence was real. Even the tenderness in his eyes was real. I occasionally thought about letting go of the past, the buried version of her high school self, but whenever I felt myself wavering, I would remember that afternoon in the abandoned school building, his cold gaze, the shaking camera, and that phrase, "Keep it quiet." "Honey/sweetheart, I love you," I said softly to the camera. "It's just that I don't think it's the right time yet." "When will it be the right time?" His voice was tearful. I was silent for a long time, then finally said, "I haven't met your family yet." Ethan was stunned, then a glimmer of hope lit up his eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize you'd be interested in them. You're serious about us, aren't you?" "Yes," I nodded. "Didn't you often mention you had a sister her age? I've wanted to meet her for a long time." I had Harper investigate her current situation. After entering college, Chloe quickly became the center of her clique, still confident and beautiful, and became a minor influencer, leveraging her wealth and beauty. I had been following her social media accounts, and every time I saw praising comments, I had to suppress the urge to tell her followers she used to be a bully. Ethan's family prepared a lavish meal to welcome me. I saw Chloe. She was still as charming and adorable as ever, sitting at the dining table, coquettishly asking Ethan to serve her food. When she saw me, she looked at me curiously. "Skylar, this is my sister, Chloe," Ethan introduced indulgently. "Chloe, this is Skylar, my girlfriend." Then Chloe sweetly said, "Hello, Skylar." At that moment, I almost struggled to maintain my composure. Chloe opened her innocent wide eyes. "You're so pretty. Ethan really got lucky." I smiled in response, but a wave of hatred churned within my heart. This was the same cute face that had once maliciously uttered the cruelest words to me. If this were my first meeting with her, I would have thought she was a very likable peer. After dinner in her room, she shared her favorite idols with me, showed me her accounts and exchanged skincare tips. After dinner, she went to the restroom. I quietly observed the layout of Chloe's room, her daily habits, and the things she cared about. I began planning how to make her experience the humiliation and pain she once inflicted. I could spread rumors on her social media, sabotage her friendships, and make her public enemy #1 at school. I even considered more extreme ways, making her experience being ganged up on, letting her know what despair tasted like. I intentionally approached Chloe and built a relationship with her. She easily opened up to me, sharing school gossip. I laughed with her, making her believe I was one of them. She was never arrogant or spoiled in front of me, because I was her Ethan's girlfriend, a pretty girl. Her malice was reserved only for the weak and her rivals. Competing for what? Popularity, boys' attention. Bullies don't suddenly mature on the night of an adult party. She remained as simple as ever. I knew it was pathetic, but what was more pathetic was that even with her simple mind, she could easily step over most people simply because her family possessed social connections. She complained about a poor kid in her group project. She tricked Emily into completing all the tasks, then badmouthed her to the teacher before the presentation, and got her kicked out of the group. Her expression back then, ha ha ha. I looked at Chloe's triumphant smile. That face became increasingly hateful in my eyes. She had no remorse, no growth. Unlike my high school self, I now had enough resources and ability to fight back. Chloe cared most about her social status, her popularity at school, and the senior guy she wanted to get. I began to quietly reach out to Emily, the girl Chloe had bullied. Seeing her, I felt like I was looking at my high school self, timid, self-conscious, yet desperate for acceptance. Do you want to change things? I asked Emily. She timidly nodded. I started secretly helping Emily, giving her makeup advice, styling tips, and even secretly funded her new wardrobe. Most importantly, I taught her how to use the same methods Chloe used to hurt her to strike back, manipulating public opinion within the small society of the school. People began to question Chloe's character, and Chloe started to feel confused and uneasy. She noticed her friends distancing themselves from her, and the senior guy no longer smiled at her. Using the same methods, I had her exploited minions tamper with her food and her healthy diet, causing her to gain weight. I had influencers she had used tamper with the products in her brand deals, ruining her brand deals. I had her bullied assistants secretly film intimate videos of her, with multiple male influencers. Her life was a mess, and her fair-weather friends scattered. I did nothing, my hands remained clean. Ethan sent me a message. Skylar, Chloe is not in good spirits lately. She says she feels isolated by everyone. Can you spend more time with her? Reading this message, I gave a bitter smile. Ethan would never know that the isolation his beloved sister was experiencing was entirely orchestrated by his beloved girlfriend. But he didn't need to remind me, because after Chloe cried to her family, the first person she sought out was me. I gently comforted her, feeling a surge of satisfaction inside. A year later, Ethan proposed to me. He booked the entire penthouse suite of the hotel, filled the room with roses, and knelt in a video call to propose. I excitedly accepted. The wedding was set for a month later. Ethan excitedly prepared everything, inviting all his friends and family, including his business partners. I stood at the hotel entrance, watching the busy figures inside. Ethan, in a sharp suit, was confirming the final details with the staff. Chloe, in a pink bridesmaid dress, looked haggard despite her thick makeup, her smile forced. The hotel's ballroom was exquisitely decorated. White flowers covered everything, and crystal chandeliers were dazzling. The guests had all arrived. Ethan stood on stage, constantly looking towards the entrance, waiting for his bride. The makeup artist was applying my exquisite makeup. I wore a custom wedding gown and looked like a princess, the makeup artist praised. I smiled at the mirror, saying nothing. The time came, and the wedding march began. I did not appear. The guests began whispering, and Ethan's face grew increasingly grim. He sent a groomsman to urge her, but the groomsman returned saying the bride was still getting ready. Another half an hour passed, and I still didn't appear. Ethan finally couldn't wait any longer, and went to the dressing room himself. Just as he walked away, the large screen at the wedding venue began to play video recording after video recording. Everything that happened in the abandoned school building 3 years ago. Evidence of Chloe bullying other classmates over the years. Ethan, as an accomplice who enabled Chloe's bullying, also frequently appeared in the footage. All these things, Now the whole world could see. Ethan only found the note I left. Did you think the past was just going to stay in the past? Did you think you could just go on living your glamorous lives as if nothing happened? Impossible. Bad people deserve what's coming to them. Ethan, you chose indifference when I was most helpless. Now it's your turn to experience despair. This wedding is my gift to all of you. Don't try to find me, I've disappeared. But I'll be somewhere, watching your lives collapse because of today. You're never to be bride, Lily. When Ethan ran back to the ballroom with the letter, the scene was already in chaos. Many business partners had left directly, and his friends were chattering and discussing. The large screen was playing audio recording from 3 years ago, along with various photos and video recording. Ethan stood on stage, finally understanding. The girl he had loved for 2 years had come for revenge from the very beginning, and he had indeed hurt her. The guests had all dispersed. In the vast ballroom, only Ethan remained. He knelt on the stage, clutching the letter, crying inconsolably. Skylar. No, Lily, I was wrong. I was truly wrong. Please come back, okay? I'm willing to spend my whole life making it up to you. But no one answered him. Thousands of miles away, I sat in a coffee shop by the sea, watching the online news reports about the farce, and finally, for the first time in years, a genuine smile spread across my face.